In the beginning, there was almost nothing, just the faintest vibration, barely a whisper in the void. Out of that silence, a single pure note emerged, and from that note, connections began to spark, golden threads weaving through darkness, pulsing with the promise of life. For most of history, humanity built altars, temples to gods, tombs for kings, monuments to memory. We looked to the past, we looked to the heavens. Then, something changed. We stopped looking up for answers and looked within. We discovered a new god, ingenuity, and we began building its cathedrals. This is not a story of buildings, this is a story of leaps, moments when we grabbed the fabric of reality and said, no, this way. Through lines of light and blueprints, we sketch the wonders of our age. The lattice of the Eiffel Tower, the sweeping curve of the Millau Viaduct, the sheer face of the Hoover Dam, the pulsing heart of a fusion reactor. All these cathedrals of the machine age, rising in awe and ambition. Our journey begins in a room with the best view in existence. But, look away from the window for a moment. Look at this. Duct tape, cables, laptops, a treadmill bolted to the wall. This is not a sleek starship. It's a garage workshop orbiting at 17,500 miles per hour. 15 nations. 20 years of construction. Over 230 spacewalks. Every bolt, every panel, every wire had to survive a rocket launch, then be assembled by astronauts in bulky gloves. This isn't engineering. It's extreme origami. Here, in this cluttered can, we learn the universe's rules without gravity's lies. We grow perfect crystals for medicine. We watch fire form spheres. We are not just visiting space. We are learning how to live in the universe. The ISS is our first trembling step off the cradle. From the ultimate frontier to a darkness just as profound, the cold, wet, crushing dark beneath the sea. For centuries, the English Channel was the perfect moat. Then, we decided to turn it into a hallway. We are in the absolute dark, 250 feet below the English Channel. Only the headlamp of the machine cuts the gloom. They didn't just dig. They performed precise geological surgery. 2 teams, starting from England and France, digging towards each other. The margin for error, the width of a human hair over 23 miles. If they missed... When they met on December 1st, 1990, the alignment was off by just 36 centimeters, not a miracle, mathematics. The channel didn't just connect land, it connected psyches. It made an island a part of the continent forever. If the tunnel is humanity burrowing, the Burj is humanity reaching, but this isn't just ambition, it's an act of architectural defiance. In the desert, the enemy isn't gravity, it's the wind. Its secret is in its dance. It sways up to 1.5 meters at the top. A giant tuned mass damper, a 600-ton concrete pendulum on the 158th floor, acts as a counterweight, calming the dance. It doesn't resist nature, it partners with it. From its tip, you can watch the sunset, wait 90 minutes, and watch it set again from the base. It contains enough concrete to pave a sidewalk from New York to Boston. It is not a building. It is a surveyor's mark on the edge of human potential, a question in glass and steel. What's next? Some wonders climb, others move mountains. But the Panama Canal performs true alchemy. It moves mountains by moving water. It is a machine that uses the planet's own gravity to do its work. This is a mountain moving. The original canal, opened in 1914, was a triumph of will over malaria and mud. The Panama Canal expansion, opened a century later, was a triumph of will over economics. The new Neo-Panamax locks are a technological apology. They recycle 60% of the water. This is not a ditch. It is the world's most sophisticated escalator. It shaves 8,000 miles off a voyage, bending global trade routes. It is geography, rewritten by political will and hydraulic engineering. Before microchips, our cathedrals were made of mass. The Hoover Dam is the Parthenon of the Great Depression, but where the Greeks sought divine proportion, the Americans sought divine power. They cooled 3.25 million cubic yards of concrete, with 582 miles of steel pipe, carrying ice-cold water from the Colorado. Without this, the dam would still be curing today. It was poured not as a single block, but as interlocking columns, a giant concrete jigsaw puzzle. It birthed Las Vegas. It powered the arsenal of democracy in World War II. But its greatest gift was certainty. It turned the wild, flooding Colorado into a predictable resource. It gave the desert time, in the form of Lake Mead, a 2-year water supply and reserve. It is a monument to an age that believed we could control nature absolutely. Today, its shrinking reservoir is a stark reminder of the limits of that control. The monolith endures, a lesson in both hubris and hope. The dam's shadow grows long. After the dam's brutalist mass, witness its opposite grace. The Millau Viaduct is engineering as poetry. Its goal was not to conquer the valley, but to kiss it. The architect Norman Foster and the engineer Michel Verloge didn't build a bridge. They drew a line. The tallest pylon is 1,125 feet, taller than the Eiffel Tower, yet from a distance it disappears. It is an act of visual modesty on a colossal scale. It carries the weight of continents, yet appears to float on air. It doesn't say, "Look what I built." It whispers, "What if the obstacle was just an idea?" It is pure, exhilarating freedom. Deep under the Swiss-French border, we have built the closest thing to a time machine, not to visit the past, but to recreate it. The Large Hadron Collider is not a tool. It is a question, carved in superconducting magnets and liquid helium. This is the quietest, emptiest place on Earth, surrounding the hottest, densest conditions since the birth of the universe. It's colder in its core than deep space. The magnetic fields are 100,000 times stronger than Earth's. It doesn't look at stars, it creates them in miniature. In 2012, it found the Higgs boson, the particle that gives all others mass. We didn't discover a particle, we discovered why there is something instead of nothing. This is the ultimate cathedral, not to a god, but to curiosity. It asks questions that have no practical answer. Its value is not in what it builds, but in what it reveals about the blueprint of reality. Sometimes it could be nothing, but then again, it could be everything. In 1953, a storm surge killed 1,836 people in the Netherlands and honestly reshaped a nation's soul. Their response was not to retreat, it was to declare war and then, sue for a brilliant peace. The Delta Works is not a wall, it is a negotiation. The philosophy is living with water. The Meislandkring, the final piece, is 2 floating gates, each the size of the Eiffel Tower lying on its side. They are so large they float into position. A computer monitoring sea levels and weather made the decision to close them for the first time in 2007. No human triggered it. It is a shield that spends most of its time in its scabbard. It's, the ultimate expression of trust in technology and respect for nature. It turned a national trauma into the world's masterclass in hydraulic defense. Life and the tidal rhythm resumes. If the Delta Works is a precise scalpel, the Three Gorges Dam is a geological axe. It's honestly the most powerful expression of a single will ever constructed. Its statistics defy belief: 22.5 gigawatts of power. 1.4 million people relocated, 13 cities, 140 towns, 1,350 villages submerged. It was built to control the Yangtze's biblical floods and to fuel an economic miracle. And well, it succeeded. But its weight is so great, geologists confirmed it triggered minor earthquakes and even slowed the Earth's rotation by a fraction of a second. It's the ultimate paradox, you know, a symbol of control that, in the end, teaches us about unintended consequences. It's honestly a modern wonder that asks the most ancient of questions. At what cost? We end not with a tool or a shield or a machine of inquiry. We end with a signature. The Palm Jumeirah is the ultimate act of terrestrial vanity. We didn't find this land. We didn't conquer it. We imagined it and then willed it into existence. It's so absurd, so audacious, it almost feels like a god's doodle. 94 million cubic meters of sand, 7 million tons of rock. It created 78 kilometers of new coastline. Its purpose, luxury, a statement. It proved that coastlines are not fate, they're a design choice. It is the purest modern wonder, built not for survival, power, or knowledge, but for desire. It is the ultimate because we can. A monument to the idea that in the 21st century, geography itself is a canvas. Look at this hand. This is where it all begins. Not with steel or concrete, but with a line on a page, a what if. For millennia, our monuments were made of cut stone. Then we learned to pour our dreams into molds of concrete, spin them into cables of steel, etch them onto wafers of silicon. We learned that the true material of the modern world is not matter, but idea. The ancient pyramids were tombs, sealing pharaohs away from time. Our cathedrals are different. The ISS is a womb for a future spent among the stars. The LHC is a mirror held up to the first moment of everything. The Delta Works is a promise to the generations yet unborn: you will be safe. We built these not to be remembered, but to remember ourselves. To remind ourselves that we are the species that looks at a river and sees a battery, that looks at a channel and sees a shortcut, that looks at the void and sees a home. We are the builders, the dreamers, the ones who see the line and then dare to draw it. The Stone Age ended not because we ran out of stones, it ended because we imagined bronze. What are we imagining now? The next wonder is in your mind.